What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to Tuesday's episode. For those who are uninitiated, I guess, Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursdays, I like to do the Ask SSP, where I interview or have a guest host. We talk about their cybersecurity origin story, what they do in the field, all that good stuff. So definitely check that out. And then Fridays, everything else. So movies, books, games, you name it, we talk about it. If you are also new and have not liked, shared, or subscribed to the episode, please do so. I always forget to plug this. So our YouTube numbers, rookie low. I need to pump up those numbers. So definitely go over to the YouTube side of the house, watch our beautiful faces on camera, and click that subscribe button. And then for all the audio listeners, please continue to share us, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and leave a review. That definitely helps us to pop up in those different websites and spotlights and things of that nature. So a good reviewed podcast gets circulated more. So definitely do that for us. So without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is from PCWorld.com, and it's written by Hans Christian Derschel. The title of this one is Intel Downfall, which is the title of the risk. The severe flaw in billions of CPUs, leaks passwords, and much more. So this is a security flaw in billions with a B, as in Bravo, as in boy, of Intel CPUs that lets attackers steal confidential data like passwords, encryption keys. There's firmware update out to fix it, but it's at a potential of a significant performance loss, right? And that's what people don't want to see. They don't want to see a performance loss when they've gone out and they've bought this 10th generation, 11th generation, CPU. But so what's funny about this article, not funny about this article, but when it starts out, the first sentence in it is, well, this is bad. And it made me chuckle. It made me LOL out loud when I saw this, and well, this is bad.
Right.
But Downfall is the name of it, right? Like I said before. And this was Daniel Mogimi, who's a security expert at Google, is the one who's discovered it. And it's in several generations of Intel processors. And this Intel processor is going back to, I want to say it was 2015. This goes back to it was discovered, right? And it's like, wow. And so, and here's what kind of gets me, right? So this was reported like a year ago. So we've talked about this before on the show. Like this was discovered, a year ago, and wasn't reported until recently, right? So it's one of those things where I'm like, why does this keep happening? You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know about something, like let's get it out there quickly, right? So like this whole year since it was discovered, like there could be people with hate in their heart that are hackers that are out here just taking advantage of this, but yeah, so it's CVE 2022-40982 is what's been assigned to this. But after Downfall was discovered, there was one called AMD's Inception vulnerability that was not too long after that, right? So the security hole effect on Ryzen RYZEN and EPYC EPYC processors, right? So when they did independent testing of the mitigation micro patches, it can drastically lower the performance, as I said before, right? So some say it's a performance loss of up to 50% under certain circumstances, right? And again, this is not what people keep buying these new computers for, that have these bigger, and not bigger, I shouldn't say bigger, but better, faster processors, right? They don't want to have a slowdown like this, but it comes with, what's the risk you want to take, right? Do you want to have the risk that your passwords are vulnerable, you know what I mean, that you believe to be secure? Or do you want to have a slowdown in performance, right? So what do you want to do? And in some cases, it may be people will be like, well, I don't want the slowdown, so I'm not gonna update the firmware for this, right? So, but yeah, so it's just it's crazy, man. Like it's crazy to me that this is where we are. It's not. I guess I shouldn't say crazy. It shouldn't be a surprise anymore that this is where we are. That this is where people are leading to, right? So, I guess people may be getting smarter when it comes to not doing the passwords that are easy to guess. The password 123,
Right.
two, three, things of that nature. So this is the route they have to go now, right? So yeah, we may have patched up one area, and technology has made it easier, right? You have your password managers, password wallets, whatever you want to call it, to where people are like, okay, I'll use this now, right? Since I don't want to have to remember, the 30 different passwords I have to have for everything in life, right? Because even when you're at work, you have like when it comes to passwords, like almost every job probably has it to where they have a certain what do you want to call it, like a, not like a trail, but like a certain sequence you would have to use, right? Uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters.
Right. There's rules.
Yeah, rules. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to. Yeah, password rules. So, like that's becoming common now, right? So you gotta go and you gotta go about doing these things, right? So I don't know, man. Like this is man. I can't say enough about us telling people to do the right thing. But when you have issues like this, right, where it's out of your out of your control, where it's a processor in the device that you buy, you've done the password manager, you've made sure you have a strong password, but then things like this, like, just can't be helped, right? And we kind of talked about this in the previous episode, right, with LinkedIn, like, us doing better to make sure we don't get hacked, but then it's things like this that happen, right? So but again, this is only up to the 11th generation, of processors, right? So your 12s and 13s, which I believe are out there now, are still safe. But
Mhm.
this vulnerability, again, existed since at least 2015 when Skylake was released. But just make sure you're going out there, you're doing all the patching that you can, right, to the operating systems, for your firmware, for components. Make sure you're out there being safe, people doing what needs to be done. You know what I mean? But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it is really bad. Like he wasn't lying. So that billions of processors, right? And it's systemic. So like the only thing you can do is best practices. So in the article it says that it appears to only be exploitable locally. So you'd have to download malware to basically let someone in to exploit the I don't, because it's not really, is it a defect? Like how would you categorize it? Because it's within the system, right? Like it's not something that um diminished over time. It's not something that was there was no supply chain attack or something that was patched into it that caused the issue. It was born this way. So um it's like I kind of freaked out myself when I saw it because I was like, okay, I'm good because I don't have that processor. And I saw the Ryzen, so I was like, oh, I got one of those. I got an i5. Um, so I looked a little bit into it, and I think I'm 12th generation, I believe. I could be 11th. It's hard sometimes to figure it out. I'm no longer a PC builder, right? Like so offline, I've been sending you and Levon messages trying to do my own upgrades now that GPUs are affordable, right? I can get in the 4000 series finally. Uh, the bots aren't buying all the GPUs, but I digress. So what you can do to protect yourself. So you need to research to see what type of processor you have, whether it be Intel or AMD, and what generation it is. Um, I kind of give this guy a little bit of I give him a complete pass. Like he found it and he reported it almost immediately, right? He gave them what I believe to be a long tail on it, only because it is billions of processors, and the fix is not great. Like you said, like the fix causes a degradation of almost 50%. No one wants to buy like, regardless of when you bought it, whether it be 2015 or recently, you don't want to buy a product for then it to become 50% less efficient, right? So there's some risk mitigation there. Like how exploitable is this? It seems to be only locally. We already have parameters in place to keep people from downloading bad links and things of that nature. Maybe we can let this slide for a few years before we upgrade, right? That can be the thought by the team. Or it could be, hey, listen, we can't allow this to be a thing. We have to now upgrade immediately to 12th and 13th generation processors, which will be very expensive, especially if you're a larger business, right? Like I only have one processor to worry about, um, or two, I guess. But if you're a big company where you have a server farm full of these things, like maybe you say, well, like, we need to figure out what our risk mitigation strategy is. We need to make sure that we keep people from downloading these potentially bad links or patches, and we need to keep moving for the next whatever your tech refresh cycle is, 3-4 years, whatever that is, until you can move on to the next best thing. But we can't pull a patch or patches because it would make us extremely slow. And maybe data transfer is our thing. Maybe the availability is higher on our CIA triad than integrity and confidentiality. I don't know. I don't know what your business is. Like, you have to come up with your own strategy. But we're all affected. Like, this is a global impact, basically. So he wasn't lying. This is pretty bad, and it's not highly publicized, which is a good thing. But it's probably highly publicized on the bad guy's side, right? Like, oh, we have something that we have a target of opportunity that is global and will be slow moving, right? In the next 3 to 4 years, we'll have the ability to attack people, if not more, because a lot of people are not going to patch this. On our side, like, we have this article that was translated from German into English, which is being circulated, which is good, but it's not. I on LinkedIn, I think I saw it. It was buzzing for a year. It was on the top of my or I'm sorry, not a year, a week. It was on the top of my trends on LinkedIn. You go to the right hand side, it says trends. It was up there for a week, and now it's gone. So anyone who missed it probably won't see it. So, like, our community might care about it, but the common individual, it would be out of sight, out of mind within the next few weeks. And they maybe they patch and they wonder why their performance is so crappy, or maybe they never patch and one day they're exploited.
But the point you made about it has to be done locally, right? So, like, we're seeing it, we're reporting it every week, right? About how there's some type of malware or something out there that's coming down the pipe, right? That people are being exploited with. So it's not a hard reach for me to say that, yeah, this is, like, it's affecting systems in the billions, right? So, like,
Yeah.
how many people are out there just not doing what they need to do, and they don't know they're affected, right? Like, this could be one of those slow things. Like, they don't know how their password got hacked. They're like, I'm doing all the right things, right? I have the password manager. I have this. Well, it's in the house. The malware is coming from in the house, right? It's like the right? The malware is coming from in the house, So, I mean, it's just something that that year, you're willing to give a pass more so than I am, right? Like, to know about it for a year, like, it's unacceptable to me to do something.
Right. That's probably them. That's them brainstorming. Like, how do we fix this? Like, that's them testing patches that are causing degradation. That's them, like, how do we fix this, and how exploitable is it? Right. So they're doing their own risk mitigation as well. It's kind of like the Fight Club with the what was it? It was the why do you do a recall, right? Like, you do the math, like, how many people are going to be affected, how many deaths will there be, how many lawsuits will impact us, and then when it hits a certain threshold, he's like, okay, we need to tell everybody.
But even then, it's like, to me personally, and I can't say I wasn't a fly on the wall, I wasn't in the meetings, right? But I think it was more of the degradation thing that they were concerned about. They were like, if we slow these down by 50%, another report said 39%, but that's still pretty high, right?
That's high.
40 to 50. I think that was the tack they took, was, we don't want to do that, right? Like, how can we then advertise? We put all this money in advertising and saying this 11th gen is this, 12th and 13th right. Effective, but 11th gen is this, 10th gen is this, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that was the risk they took in not showing the performance degradation. But again, I'm guessing here, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. So we'll see what comes of it. I mean, we could literally be talking about this for years, because it takes a long time for people to cycle out their processors. Because if it works, it works. If you're not top end gaming rig, like, you can sit on the processor for a decade if you really wanted to, right? It goes from being your family PC or whatever your primary, to being the one in the corner mining cryptocurrency, right? So we'll see what happens, but definitely check us out throughout the week. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursdays, I do have an Ask Assist P lined up, so definitely check that one out. I'll start to advertise it within the week, because I haven't recorded it yet. And then Friday, everything else. So hit us up at the website to go by our name. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy on pretty much everything. Stay safe, stay secure.